my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, sing. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Hey everybody. Hi. I love you. I'm glad that you are here with me today. It ought to be a funny one. I'm just gonna tear apart this fucking Variety article that has been making the rounds. Oh my God, what a bizarre world that we live in, that an article like this would be written straight-faced. This is not a parody article. This is not from, the Babylon Bee. What is the Babylon Bee comedy one? The Onion. This is not a joke article. This is 100% true, or at least they think it is. Now, I don't know if the people at Variety are laughing behind the scenes at the farce that they put out, that they've written, that like this is a thing, because it's just, it's insane. I'm just going to start with the headline of this article here. It's called Disney's Boy Trouble, Studio seeks original IP, intellectual property, to win back Gen Z men amid Marvel Lucasfilm struggles. And like that, Jesse Blaze Snider's brain has exploded. Yeah. Wait, I'm sorry. Like a decade ago, Disney bought Star Wars and Marvel to fix the boy trouble that they had then. They bought the most profitable and popular boy brands on planet Earth. And as my friend Chris Gore from Film Threat had once said on Twitter, he said, the most costly mistake of it'll be seen as like one of the biggest mistakes or most costly mistakes in history, trying to turn Star Wars and Marvel from boy brands into girl brands. And now this is something that's absolutely true, and there's no fucking partisan politics or any. If you're out there and you're fucking liberal and you're sitting like, I'm liberal, okay? So don't fucking sit with me and try to give me any of this like oh, you're just like, no, man. I am you. I am the droid you are looking for. I am the most liberal, non-binary Ashkenazi Jew by blood on planet Earth. I love everybody. I want to see us all prosper. I'm a fucking Star Trek fan before I'm a Star Wars fan. I have a vision of the fucking future being better than it is right now. I am open-minded. I am cool to everyone. But we, the liberals, we've been weaponized. And because we want to be one of the pretty people, especially because of social media, everybody wants to be one of the pretty people. We want to have followers. We want support. We want everybody to be like, oh, we're cool. We're part of the cool kids. And, it's the easiest place to see it. You would see your whole life people telling you, don't be a sheep, don't be a follower. Motherfuckers, you are looking at all the sheep and all the followers, all these Tinseltown people. It starts with the fucking actors and the actresses and the directors and the fucking agents. Every single person playing these games, and then it trickles down, goes down to the hosts and the presenters, and then the people who just want to play on social media, and the journalists and the writers. All the people. Doubling down on journalists and writers. But it just goes to, there's writers as well, people who are creating all these things, everybody within this system. The people who are the writers, the people who are the directors, they're generally the people who don't consider themselves to be pretty. They don't consider themselves a pretty person. They don't think that they can get a date on Friday night. My dad famously, when good-looking people who would come in and be successful, he knew this. So good-looking person would come into his radio show when he did back in the day, and he'd be like, how is it that you became so talented when you're so handsome? And invariably, every person had a fucking story. And I forget who it was, but there was a very handsome musician, but they were very talented. And my dad said, so what happened to you that forced you from going out and trying to bang babes to hanging out at home and doing your thing? and like writing songs and learning how to be a musician. And sure enough, there was a story. This particular person, and I forget who it was, but they ended up with a terrible nickname, Turtle Boy, after a birthday party where they purchased a pet turtle for one of the kids, and the turtle was wrapped up and it was left on the radiator, and the turtle got cooked while before they were able to open up the presents, and the turtle died. So she opened up a present and it was a dead turtle, and this dead turtle present led to this boy being called Turtle Boy. And high school, middle school, whatever, he lived in this small town, and like he couldn't get away from that shit, and so he turned to writing and creativity and stuff like that. I've been asked similar questions. The answer for me is that I'm high functioning autistic. Ultimately, I didn't know that until I was much older. But my memory, and that there's certain things that like sort of feed me. And while I love sex and I love women, but I'm not really like a love them and leave them kind of guy. So I would end up in lots of relationships, and I would never get rid of the things, my hobbies that I like to do. And my brain was very, very fast. So I was always sort of reading and digesting information, and I would get certain things that I was interested in, and I would just amplify that thing. But it's really true that, that people who can be a part of the pretty people group. And of course, it's also a part of, for me, it was like, I'm Dee Snider's son. I'm a celebrity. People wanted me to be in the popular group, and I usually was like in the popular group to some degree. But I was also friends with everybody else because I didn't see jocks and geeks. Like I didn't see all these lines. I just saw human beings as human beings. I like people, and I would be friends with everybody. And honestly, it didn't take me very long to completely leave the cool kid groups, because those people would like turn on you and talk shit about you behind your back. And like I've gotten stabbed in the back by like circles of friends that I went that were very popular, and I felt very popular at the time. And then I got destroyed by these people because on whatever level somebody felt insecure in the group. I wasn't a shitty person. I didn't talk shit about people behind people's back. Granted, I'm high functioning autistic, which means sometimes socially I can make mistakes, and I don't really like always say the right thing. Sometimes I'll say something that might be like offensive to somebody or whatever, but it didn't seem offensive to me. I thought it was just factual information. But it's absolutely true. Not everybody gets into that group. Every school's got the popular kid, and the society has the popular kids group. And the popular kids group are, they got followers, and they're on social media, and they got clout, and they hang out with interesting people, and like they got money. Like, these are all the things that make you important and popular and blah, blah, blah. So for those of you who are trying to participate in this fucking echo chamber, following the popular people, the popular journalists, and the popular writers, and the popular directors, and I warn you, they are all sniffing the same ass. They are all trying to appease the same people, the same group of people who are asking certain things of them. This is not authentic. This is not from the heart. These are not genuine people following their heart doing shit. These are superficial people who want to participate in the superficial thing. I may look like somebody who should be in cahoots with them, but I am real. There is nothing superficial about Jesse Blaze Snider. I am a real person, a genuine person. I care about loyalty. I care about love. I care about intelligence. I care about honor and legacy, doing things the right way, long term, making my family look good, making my friends look good because they're associated with me. I care. I genuinely care. And you know what I care least about? Being famous. You know what I care most about? Being respected. I will take fame if it comes with respect that I've earned. But otherwise, I have no fucking interest. I'm not here to be one of the pretty people. I'm here to change the way songs are being written, to change the way stories are being written, to change the way people are thinking about reality on a daily basis. That's why I got into writing. That's why I do podcasts. That's why I make music. I am here to change the paradigm. We're living in a paradigm where people feel very disempowered. If you're not one of these pretty people, if you're not this, if you're not that, if you don't have money, it's all bullshit. I know that firsthand because I'm the child of a celebrity. I grew up in that shit. Half the time that I was getting respected and being treated like I had money, we had nothing. My father had lost everything. It's all appearances. It's all assumption. It's all just what people expect based on some middling, simple, short change. Your brain trying not to fucking waste too much energy so that it can just sum you up in its mind. I'm a jock, I'm a geek, I'm a musician, choir boy, fucking, lovesick, romantic. I am everything. I've tried to be that thing on purpose, be this different thing because I wanted people to know that everybody's not one size fits all. Everybody's different, everybody's unique. Right now, the everybody's different, everybody's unique has been weaponized into this, oh, we're different and we want things like this and you better call us by our right pronouns and you better treat us the way that we want. And all of this fucking angry sort of what you now call liberal fucking politics. This is bullshit. I'm the liberal who wanted hazing to stop, who wanted racism to stop, not for it to continue in a new form, which is what has happened. I've watched it happen. Don't be such a fool as to deny that the racism has now changed. Now we are hazing and pouring against the coals the people who look like the people who were our abusers yesterday. They're not our abusers. They're completely different people, but they kind of look like them. What's that called? Racism. So seriously, when you think about what they've done to Star Wars, Marvel, and every other fucking property under the sun, this isn't a discussion, man. There has been a feminization. They want to encourage the boys to be feminine, and they're discouraging the women from being feminine, which is hysterical because we want to live in a matriarchy, right? A matriarchy is femininity, the energy of femininity, taking hold, taking root, becoming the dominant energy. That's not what's happening. We're getting more and more masculine women into politics and into power. Masculine women. That is not a matriarchy. A matriarchy can literally be all feminine men. People who identify with creativity and nurturing and empathy and love. The way I like to think of femininity and masculinity is sort of like holding things as they are, keeping tradition, protecting the things as they are. And femininity is a little bit more like, oh, well, this is nice, but maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we could try this. It's just like this crazy inversion where we're demonizing women for being women. And we're like, oh, thank you, man. I'm so glad that you men want to be women. Like, who gives a fuck? My entire life I've been mistaken for gay because I'm feminine. I'm a lot more like a lady on a lot of energetic levels than I am like a man. Yeah, people like me who are creative and sweet and empathetic and really care about people and think deeply about things, that's great. We need a matriarchy to take over. But this idea of masculizing, adding masculinity to the women and trying to add femininity to the men, where we're literally shaming the women who are feminine and we're shaming the men who are being masculine. Like, it's just fucking absurd. It's racism. It's sexism. It's all of the things just reversed. Don't allow yourself to be tricked to this inversion of the draconian system we were living in yesterday. Yesterday, racism worked for them. They liked that certain people were being oppressed. Now they've reversed it. They've empowered the oppressed, and they've disempowered, in theory, the oppressors, the people who look like the oppressors. Of course, people who look like the oppressors, like me, I look like a white cis male, but I'm not. I look like it. And now, because I wouldn't, promote the fact that I was non-binary, promote the fact that I was an Ashkenazi Jew, I couldn't get the jobs in Hollywood. I basically left the voiceover industry because I stopped getting work. because it just, all of a sudden, I wasn't in vogue. You know, there was a moment where I came into the industry and my voice was really in vogue. Not my voice quality, but voice quality, something about my voice. I'm very genuine. I'm very real. And getting somebody who will talk and say, buying a Kia is one smart move. Pre-order Madden, get good sooner. GameStop, power to the players. Want more taste? Get America's favorite pizza. Pizza Hut, now online. You may have heard of HelloFresh. They send chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients to your home. But this summer, they made their biggest menu upgrade yet. This isn't the HelloFresh you remember. It's bigger. HelloFresh has doubled its menu. Now you can choose from 100 options each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. Dig into bigger portions that'll keep everyone satisfied. It's also healthier. Feel great with an even healthier menu filled with high-protein and veggie-packed recipes. HelloFresh now helps you eat greener with new veggie-packed recipes that have 2 or more veggies. Plus, it's tastier. Get steak and seafood recipes delivered every week for no extra cost. There's 3 times more seafood on the menu now, at no extra cost. Discover new seasonal produce each week, from snap peas to stone fruit to corn on the cob and more. I use this, and you should too. Honestly, I have a really hard time cooking for myself. I just don't feel like it. At the end of the day, my girl's an electrician. She works really hard. She doesn't feel like cooking for herself. And it costs us so much money to go out and eat at restaurants. And when we get food, we just have a tendency to let a lot of it go bad. And we hate that. We hate having to open up the fridge once a week, go through everything that we bought, and throw away all the stuff that went bad. But when we get our meals from HelloFresh, everything is portioned to the exact amount that we need. So basically, nothing goes to waste. And the quality level of the food that we make when we're getting these HelloFresh meals versus like stuff that we're making for ourselves, outside of when we just buy a steak, it's just always better, more creative, more interesting, and we're always learning something. Like me and my girl, we've become pretty good chefs almost because of all the different types of meals that we've had to make, different things that we've had to learn how to prepare by using HelloFresh. So seriously, I highly recommend this service. And I'm not the only one who does. They say 91% of customers say that they feel healthier eating with HelloFresh. 9 out of 10 say dinner is more delicious with HelloFresh. It's really true. HelloFresh is the easiest way to cook dinner. HelloFresh is America's #1 choice for home cooking. And the best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/CGA10FM now to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/CGA10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. My voice has an earnestness, an emotionality to it because I mean things that I say. And I know how to speak from the heart. In a large part because my father's a radio personality and I've listened to him speak for years and years. I know a lot of people know my father as a musician, but he's also done radio throughout his whole life. And I've just listened to him talk for forever. Always loved listening to him talk. So I got to learn how to do that. And because of and this was the other thing, a slightly raspy, earnesty, earthy voice. Because I was a musician and I was out in the clubs all the time, singing my ass off, punk and metal, like I ripped up my vocal cords in a way that changed my voice in a positive way and made me sound marketable or whatever else. And that earnest whatever, that real voice was very popular for a while. But then it became, we don't care what race you are, we don't care what sex you are. Like all of the voiceovers used to be split up amongst, they would be looking for a black voice, they'd be looking for a white voice, they'd be looking for whatever specific shit. Now, because, we don't want to be racist or whatever else, it's non-denominational. We don't matter what you are, except the white guys aren't getting the jobs. And like, there's a real avoidance in empowering the empowered. Oh, you guys are the slavers, and you've already had the power, and now we're giving the power over to other people. I'm sorry. I do not support this. I do not agree with this. If you agree with it, you're a fucking pussy and a weakling. I'm sorry. I could have gotten work for being non-binary. I didn't because I'm an honorable man. I didn't. I could have. But to me, getting work not because of my merit, but because of some bullshit little subcategory, I didn't want these other people who didn't have the benefit of being non-binary to no longer be in competition with me. There were great fucking writers who couldn't claim any of those things. They were straight cis male. I fucking hate that term, by the way. I think it's a slur. Those people deserve to work. Those people earned it. A lot of them are really fucking great at what they do. Having more diversity in the world, getting more, people of all walks of life into a field is a great thing. But that's not what happened when the DEI situation clicked into place. What happened was the politickers, the people who were willing to use this little aspect of their personality. Oh yeah, I'm a quarter Asian, so I might as well go for it. The people who were willing to play on their differences, they've been getting the work. In comics, there's a wonderful writer named Marjorie Liu, who I really like a lot of her stuff. She used to work at Marvel on some of the smaller tier books. I think she's got an independent comic that's fairly popular now. I forget what it's called. I haven't read it myself, but I really like her writing. I've read a lot of different things that she wrote. And when I had heard about, the whole DEI thing going on, I didn't love that because I wasn't going to play that game. And I knew that I was going to get, sort of singled out on some level because I wasn't willing to play that game. I did think, well, people like Mark Andreyko, who's my friend, he's a writer, he's gay. He's always been openly gay in the industry, and he's very talented. I thought, well, great. Mark's going to get work, Great. Marjorie Liu's going to get work. Great. Christopher Priest will get more work. And, Christopher Priest did get a little bit more work. And Christopher Priest, very famously, they tried to call him to write some black character, and he won't. And he's told them, I won't be your token black guy writing your black character. Which, fuck yeah, man. I love you, Christopher Priest. I so appreciate that, man. A man after my own heart. I would have fucking said the same damn thing. That's awesome. But people like Mark Andreyko and Marjorie Liu, who are very talented, they did not get any more work. I used to talk about in comics, there's a dozen skills that you need ultimately to get, to get anywhere. And it's really not just comics, it's everywhere. Talent is not the only avenue. And having talent alone will not get you work anywhere. I promise you. Doesn't matter how talented you are. If you're not charming, if you can't speak, string together a few sentences, if you can't come up to somebody and say, hey, I'm this, I do this, can I pitch you on some things? It takes a certain amount of confidence to do that in the first place. There's a lot of people who can't do that. There are a number of skills that are needed in order to get yourself in the door to get work anywhere. And when the DEI thing happened, what happened was the executives who are retarded to begin with, they don't have taste. Very few of them do. And the ones who do don't trust their taste. Because why would you? If you trust your taste and the project is a failure, you get fired. And most of the executives, I was just talking to my friend Sean O'Malley from O'Malley Productions about how most of the executives in this industry, they're terrified. Their jobs are on the line all the time. It's very hard for them to take risks. You really got to make things easy on everybody in the upper echelons of the level and feel for them on some level because they are just running around trying to avoid being fired and trying to keep themselves fed and they don't have talent. Their talent is talking to people and charming people and making friends and relationships and shit. That's the fucking job of an agent or a producer, all these things, having connections and having a Rolodex. And oh my God, it's exhausting having to be a popular person and not piss off the other popular people and all this shit. I'm so glad I don't have to fucking do it. I'm a talented person. I'm somebody who's developed his talent. I've also developed my ability to speak, my ability to promote my ideas and be able to talk about these things in a way that hopefully will make people go, oh, wow, Jesse really does seem to have a good handle on this. Just hearing him talk about it for a minute, I feel like I understand it better. Cool. That's me. That's what I do. I fucking boil things down. I look at the big picture. I see the shape of the thing. And I go, okay, here's the shape of the thing. How do I work on this? How do we make it better? And me being able to actually articulate what it is that I'm doing when I go in to write something, create something for somebody, produce something, work on anything. That is what makes me valuable. That's why people still call me for voiceovers, even though I don't even have an agent anymore. I don't go on auditions anymore, but I'll still be narrating. I'll still be doing commercials. I'll still be doing stuff because I have, 100 or so different people who I've worked with over the years who are like, oh, Jesse's great. He really knows what he does, what he's doing. And, we're going to get him in here, right? That's what we want. We want people who are so fucking good at their jobs that they're in here. And it used to be a little bit more where people like me could get through the door creatively. A little bit. Now, the producers and the editors, they think they know what they need and what they want because it's a superficial need and want. DEI is a superficial need and want. We need more color. We need more gays. We need more ladies. Very easy. Hey, you're a lady. You're what I'm supposed to hire. Hey, you're black. You're what I'm supposed to hire. Yesterday, there was a presumption that we were looking for the best stories. They didn't really know what the best stories were, but some people like me were capable of pitching to such a degree where people would read the pitch and they go, wow, Jesse seems to fucking have a handle here. And I know you're like, Jesse, you're a fucker. I barely know. I only know your name because of this podcast. Well, yeah, I've worked at every single company at least once, but I would get tired of waiting for people and waiting for companies. But I worked at every single company because I was good at doing those pitches. And these people would go, oh, you're a utility man. Well, we'll keep you around. We'll have you nearby. I'm still friendly with lots of those people, but everybody knows that I'm done jumping through the fucking hoops. And I've moved on. And now I'm doing things independently the way that I want to because the waiting around and the amount of free writing that I was having to do constantly. Like, if you want to go onto my computer, you'll see my time spent at Marvel, all the fucking pitches that I have there. And you'll see how many fucking pitches are really great. Things that were sitting there, like my Blade pitch, which Aaron Sparrow's talked about before on Thinking Critical, which is a YouTube channel that talks about a lot of comic stuff. This was Mark Paniccia was my editor. They loved this pitch that I had written. And I think I did an episode of the Blade pitch years ago on Coolest Geek Alive. I did. I talked about it at length. What my original pitch was to bring Blade into the comics in a real way, connected to the movie. So if you listen to that episode, you have an idea. And, it was very frustrating to me because it took like 9 months for them to pitch my Blade thing. They pitched it at a creative summit. And literally like 2 months before the creative summit, they had promised Blade to Victor Gischler or something like that. And he had brought Blade into the X-Men books. I didn't know who this guy was. He was a no-name writer. And he introduces them into the fucking X-Men, which is like the biggest fucking layup of like, oh, it's a guest appearances. But not a good one. Not the type of thing that anybody wanted to see. But like, oh, okay. It's like, well, maybe that'll make it easy to sell Blade comics. I was thinking in terms of the whole universe. I was trying to elevate the whole thing. I was bringing science fiction vampires, which is what's seen in the Wesley Snipes Blade movies, into the Marvel universe in a way that connected it together and made it really fucking meaningful and cool. Now, that pitch doesn't mean anything anymore coming out of my mouth because I don't have tits. I'm not willing to say that I'm non-binary. I don't want them to fucking promote that. I don't want them to promote that I'm an Ashkenazi Jew and I'm going to write a Kitty Pryde miniseries. I don't care about that. But this is the situation that we've gotten ourselves into with all of this stuff. It's become all political. It's become all about choosing activists, choosing people who are willing to spout their philosophical ideas about their reality, and ones who match up with the fucking philosophical ideas that are being taught in colleges that are owned by the most powerful and rich people in the fucking world. Every single one of these colleges, they're all teaching the same shit. The people who are writing these textbooks, they own the fucking textbooks manufacturers. They have hired these people to do the things that they want done, to terraform the whole society, to have an upper class person who is going to college and then going into the entertainment business, telling you, giving you the world, feeding you the world in the exact way that they want it to be fed to you. Terraforming our reality. And it has destroyed all of geek culture. Everything. I can't really name a single geek culture thing that has not been affected by this in some way or another. Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel, DC. The list goes on. And then, just tons of little things like Red Sonja and stuff like that. And we get like saved from fucking little, like Red Sonja could have been where it could have been. Right now we're living in a time where we're like the punch is being pulled, they're still trying to do the same bullshit. Especially because they are self-righteously thinking that this is what they're here to do. But what they're doing is they're making all of the art unnatural, inorganic. That's the whole thing about art. If it's not organic, it's not art. Art is meant to feel natural, to feel organic. The more you create something that is organic and natural feeling, the more your audience goes, wow, my God, bravo, that's totally real. The more you are just trying to terraform and just create a world that doesn't exactly exist, the more you're fucking it up. Because every individual has a different idea about this world that, that they want to create and all this stuff. And it just creates this sanitized thing that isn't coming from a place of truth. I had this happen to me. I wrote a story like this. I saw this in the reality. I thought that was kind of a glitch. I wanted to write a story that brought out that glitch. And here's my story. Instead, we have stories and actors and narratives and whatever else designed to just reinforce this same homogenized DEI universe. This idea right now where we have open borders all the time because, some people are too dumb to get into the country. And shut the fuck up, you assholes. Nobody is too dumb to go through a fucking system if they want to migrate somewhere else. Somebody who's like, I have the energy to go walk a bazillion miles to get over the place. They have the energy to do other things too. They have the energy to think. There's so many people living in this country legally because they immigrated legally. And this weird, bizarre, liberal thing of we're going to go, who gives a shit that there are other nations on planet Earth that have their own CIAs and FBIs and fucking MI6s and whatever other secret fucking police apparatuses that could be putting secret agents in America, the most rich and powerful fucking planet, a country on planet Earth. We have no means of monitoring who's coming into the country. It's one thing when we had open borders when the fucking place was empty. We were trying to fill this place up. It's another thing when we've gotten to a certain point and we don't want it was positive, every single person that came into the country yesterday. It's a little bit more nuanced now about every single person that comes into the country. I understand the bleeding heart thing for this thing and that thing, whatever. But what about safety? What about the society wasn't quite what it was all those years ago. Now there's a lot of espionage going on. There's a lot of fucking craziness. 9/11, if you believe it happened the way it happened, friggin' having loosey-goosey border policy, that's the way that we have people come into the country and the world, not care about their fellow Americans, not treat us like we're all one nation and we care about each other. This is a real thing. You can't fucking sweep it under the carpet every single time an illegal immigrant does something terrible. And half the illegal immigrants are white. They're white cis males. And some of them are other fucking nations, but it's all a fucking melting pot here in America. There's all sorts of people who want to come here and get into our country. And now we have this no, just complete open borders, just let it all, whatever. And then we've got this huge apparatus in America where we're going to pay them. We're going to have the U.S. government tax dollars pay for all these people to live. And we're going to treat them better than we treat our own homeless. We're going to treat them better than we treat our own veterans. It's this bizarre system. There's so many aspects to it. Any person who can't look at this shit in a nuanced way and go, hey, wait. This all does seem to be a little bit of a fucking malfunctioning mechanism within our society. You're really just confused. And that's the thing. They want us to be confused. They want us to just be myopically focused on one little thing. Oh, those poor, what if one person has to struggle and whatever? Dude, man, life is hard. We are all struggling. The struggle and the plight of the gay community is not fucking more important than my struggles. And I mean, granted, I'm on the fucking spectrum. I'm speaking specifically to the gay community, or specifically to the trans community, specifically to the black community. We all have our own struggles. Everybody does. Everybody's different. Everybody's sexuality is different. Even the fucking cis straight white males. Every situation is fucking nuanced. But we're trying to do a certain thing. And this thing is a calculated thing. It's the thing that destroyed Russia. Go talk to some old men from Russia, and they'll tell you about how important the fucking trans issue was right before that country fell. Powerful interests have been trying to destroy America for a very long time. And recently, they've been doing it through intellectual property. They've been doing it through entertainment. And Disney, who bought these intellectual properties, Star Wars and Marvel, to take over the boy sphere, has injected so much of this politics and all of this like diversity sort of thing to get away from what have largely been cis male boy brands and try to make them things that they're not. And the ridiculous thing about this, and the most revealing thing about this is, this has hurt their ability to bring women into the cinema worse, mathematically worse, than it has hurt their ability to bring in men. More men showed up to watch the Marvels than women. How can that be, right? The Marvels, so clearly aimed at women, teen girls, whatever else. Go look at the fucking numbers. More men, more of these cis white men saw Miss Marvel than any other group. And the women that had been going to see Avengers Endgame and all these other things, they are more prevalent of an audience member before all the changes start to happen. They love Iron Man. They love Captain America. They love Chris Hemsworth's Thor. They adore the Marvel Cinematic Universe. When the boy brands are kicking ass and taking names and doing things the way they're supposed to be doing things, there's no problem. There's no problem at all. The boys love it, and the girls are like, oh, let me check this out too. Guess what? A woman who likes a man might like to see a man that they would like to see. Like Captain America, Steve Rogers as a character is the type of a man that a woman might want to interact with. Is the type of person that she might want to imagine in her mind. Is the type of person she might want to marry. A heroic person standing up for what he believes in. These are all really important things. Okay, a little bit of activity over here at my house. I had to just like take a quick pause and handle a couple things. And I moved myself outside, so my background noise might sound a little bit different now. But let's get into this article because it is just astoundingly tone deaf. And, I'm just... Disney's boy trouble. Studio seeks to win back Gen Z men by improving the output of Marvel and Lucasfilm. Like, that's what this should say. This should say they're rethinking how they're doing Marvel. They're rethinking how they're doing Star Wars. They're rethinking how they're doing Indiana Jones. They recognize that they bought this IP so that they could connect with boys, and they've failed somewhere along the way. And they're trying to go in there and assess the ways in which they failed and fix this. But no, it doesn't say that. It says that the studio is seeking to purchase original intellectual property. So they want to buy more male properties so they can do the same fucking thing that they did to Marvel and Star Wars and Indiana Jones and the ones that they already bought. Because there's nothing here about changing what fucked up those properties in the first place. What they want to do is buy a fresh IP that doesn't have the stink of Disney and the stink of partisan politics on it already. And then maybe they'll go and maybe they'll be a little bit less partisan. Maybe they'll make it just a little bit less stinky this time. And they'll try to do the same thing that they did with all of the other properties they bought. So let's check out this article. Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty aren't the only ones looking for a prince. Leadership at Walt Disney Studios has been pressing Hollywood creatives in recent months, multiple sources tell Variety, for movies that will bring young men back to the brand in a meaningful way. Young men is defined here by sources as ages 13 to 28, aka Gen Z. And let me tell you, Gen Z, my children of Gen Z, Cassidy and Logan, they were all about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They never got into Disney Star Wars, which was the only bit that was offered to them, really. It was never their thing. They didn't like what Disney did. They're not necessarily fans of the previous stuff. But Iron Man and Captain America, Thor, the original Avengers and films, and that franchise up until like Endgame, they were all about it. And then I watched even my daughter just kind of go, what the fuck is this? On so many things. On Miss Marvel, she was like, who gives a fuck? That's literally, here's a superhero her own age. And she was just like, ugh, yuck. Ugh. You see what I mean about the women actually really liking these strong masculine archetypes that we have going on in some of these movies? It's true. So, basically, they're like, yeah, duh, everybody's looking for ways to convert young audiences into moviegoers. This shit, they're like, because they can't face reality, they have to throw shade at the Gen Z men. And they're like, telling you how numerous studies are saying that Gen Z men are lonely, gaming obsessed, and hampered in their formative years by COVID-19 lockdowns. All right, there's a lot of things contributing to our lonely men in the culture, and making terrible entertainment that sucks so that people turn to other things like anime or video games. Yeah, that's what happens when you make shitty products. So they're basically going, this isn't an easy group to get after, which is fucking bullshit. So Disney is now calling for original concepts to lure the demo back to the movies. So this is, of course, and this is what it says in the thing, this is the same Disney whose multi-billion-dollar content engines, Marvel and Lucasfilm, have sated men of all ages or for almost 2 decades since the company acquired them, except not. Diminishing returns, since Disney has gotten a hold of them. They're looking for new IP, new pitches, splashy global adventures, treasure hunts, seasonal fare like films for the Halloween corridor. The calls come as Star Wars Machine struggles to produce any film project and the superhero genre sheds audiences by the minute. Okay, they turned Star Wars into a TV series. Star Wars was a film brand. They turned it into a failed TV show. Essentially, a series of failed television shows. Even the ones that were successful in an intellectual capacity, like Andor, which was excellent. And Andor season 1 and 2, I still recommend if you have any sliver of love for Star Wars. Andor is wonderful. The first 2 seasons of Mandalorian were solid. But oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. It is awful, and it shouldn't be making movies anymore. This fucking thing is just, oh my God, the cope here in the article here, as they struggle to produce any film project. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy keeps announcing them, but none of them are made because they know that they're all going to bomb at the box office, because they know that the shine is off the rose, because they see the merchandising sales. And now you can go look at merchandising sales, but I don't even have to look at the fucking numbers. I knew this before because I'm a toy guy, and I'm constantly, at toy shows or conventions, and looking at toys and seeing different things, seeing how much different things are going for. See, that's a good way to judge whether or not a series is successful. They put out a toy line. Are those toys easy to find? Are some of the toys hard to find? Are some characters hard to find? This is how you realize, oh, Wolverine's popular. Oh, Cara Dune is popular. Because they sell a lot of toys. So it says, while 2 insiders say the mandate to recruit young males goes as high as the C-suite, the task primarily has fallen on David Greenbaum, the former Searchlight Pictures co-head, brought on in 2024 to run Disney's live-action film business. That label has been sorely lacking in guy-leaning fare like the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise for nearly 10 years. It's one of the rare boy brands that Disney had before they started buying things. Studio insiders say the property is in active development, though not in its last reported iteration involving Margot Robbie. Another one of these announcements that Disney made, and then nothing. Because they don't know what to do now, because Johnny Depp isn't persona non grata, so it doesn't make sense to move past him because he is the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. So now they're in this weird quagmire because it doesn't exactly fit their politics of the past 10 years. To say nothing of the lackluster attempt to reboot and hand off Indiana Jones in 2023, where they literally were going to kill him in other iterations, where there had to be reshoots revealed by John Williams, the guy who did the score, because they had a whole bunch of different plans that they were going to do, where apparently in some screenings, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was picking up Indiana Jones' hat and putting it on himself, and then she was going to go through history redoing all of the fucking Indiana Jones movies that they had already done. Like, great idea. Or is it? Oh, God damn it. Like, this shit is just awful. They're giving some numbers for Indiana Jones. A Disney source says that movies for Gen Z men are part of an overall strategy across all labels, but no more urgent than any other quadrant. And you might be out there saying, well, Gen Z men didn't grow up on Marvel Comics and stuff, so, like, you know, they weren't necessarily the target market. Not necessarily, but their fathers are. And their father, when these movies are good, these are things that they enjoy together. These are things that we all get to enjoy together. We get to have shared culture and enjoy these things. And yeah, superheroes, somebody, you know, fucking going out there with some sort of moral, like, this is what I feel, this is what I'm passionate about, I'm gonna go save people, the mafia killed my wife and my kids, and now I'm gonna kill the mafia until they're done, the Punisher, you know, I'm from a far off planet, but I've been taught the American way, and I have all this power, and I gotta be a good guy, you know, to help inspire people. That's Superman. With great power comes great responsibility. That's Spider-Man. These are things that men need, want. Lines in the sand. Morality, realness, strength, standing up for things that you believe in. Fucking matters. Men do go for these things. Star Wars lasted decades and decades and decades and decades with generations of men who didn't see it in the theaters. Some of the biggest Star Wars fans on planet Earth never saw the movie in the theaters. How does that happen? Because it's not necessary. If something is good and something scratches the itch for one group, and you know, and clearly, you know, you see when it comes to the thing, you know, to say men and women are different, I think is a real misnomer. Because within the men category, there are men who are more like women, like me. But that doesn't even necessarily mean that I'm not necessarily into superheroes or other things too. And it doesn't necessarily mean all of those women aren't going to be into it, find reasons to be into this stuff as well. But there are, like, you know, there's differences in chemicals and, you know, and there are polarities, you know, sort of within our society. So there are people who are more drawn to, say, testosterone, and then there are people who are more drawn to intellectual dramas and people talking and things like that. There are differences. But speaking, when you speak in terms, it sounds like a generality, but the generalities, it's okay, because there's still room, when you're doing the polarity, there's still wiggle room for all the different types of people within that system, because some of the women are more like men and some of the men are more like women. It's essentially only two, pulling in different directions. And when the drama is good enough, when the romance is good enough, everybody sees The Notebook. When the romance is good enough, everybody sees Titanic. And great, there's a little more going on in Titanic, but still, when it's good enough, everybody sees it. A League of Their Own is not hurt by being all women. It's one of the greatest sports movies of all fucking time. Black Panther, Blade, they're not hurt by featuring a black males. That didn't stop any of the white guys like me going, fucking, I love Blade. Oh, man, I love Wesley Snipes. I'll see like any Wesley Snipes movie. I really like him. I think he's charming. I think he's like, you know, fucking physically, you know, he embodies, like, you know, these powerful men. And I like seeing him in movies. I don't fucking care that he's black. Who fucking gives a shit? And black actors and whatever else have had more and more and more of a prominence in American film for ages. None of this stuff is holding any of these things back. So what's Greenbaum's answer to this whole Gen Z problem? The Gen Z males? Well, he recently hired Daria Sursek. She's a lady. Savvy former Paramount Pictures co-chief. Because she's going to come and assist in this cis white male Gen Z situation. We got to get these children entertained. Greenbaum is beloved by talent, but has largely existed in the prestige indie sphere, while Sursek shepherded films from franchises like Sonic the Hedgehog, which Sonic the Hedgehog, obviously, she had something to do with the fact that they were able to go back to the drawing board and fix the design of Sonic, which was smart. A Quiet Place and Smile. Some think the push for this demographic is simply Greenbaum trying to put his stamp on live action. Yet numerous power players who spoke with Variety see something ominous in the tea leaves. Disney's sweet spot at the moment has been millennials. That generation rapidly consumed classic vault titles like The Lion King, 101 Dalmatians, Lilo and Stitch as kids. Yeah. The millennials, we are the ones who have been fucking manipulated the longest. I am an older millennial. I was born in 82. And my people, the people that I fucking grew up with, some of my best friends, they are the most liberal idiots you will ever fucking deal with. I had a long conversation with one of my great friends. He's a fucking stunt man. He's a black guy. He's like 6'6", and one of the most handsome, powerful, empowered human beings you will ever see on planet Earth. Married to a white lady, and he and I were talking all about how they had race swapped all of these different anime characters, and we were going through a list of all these different source material was like this, and then they changed it to this. Source material was like this, and they changed it like this, and then finally I mentioned one. I'm like, and this one, and I go and Wally West, and he goes, nah, I don't care about that. And I said, what? What do you mean you don't care about that? He said, they've been doing it to us forever. They have been doing it to us forever. I am not they. Fuck you. Fuck you. That was the last time I hung out with that guy. What a racist fucking thing. To say to my face, straight-faced, I didn't do it. You're telling me how you don't appreciate when they take the character who was black and then they make him something else? Yeah, I don't appreciate when you take the character who was white and you make him something else. I don't appreciate when you take any character who was one thing and you make him something else arbitrarily for no fucking reason. If there's a story reason, if there's some reason to do it, be my guest. You have my blessing. But to just do this willy-nilly? Because, white audiences aren't going to like the Asians. No, I don't think that's true at all. And in many cases, it has been proven that that's not true. And Blade is a perfect example of this. The millennials are super woke. They've been tricked. They got herded into this corner. However, Gen Z, they are not woke. They don't like this weird manipulation. They're smart enough to see what's going on. A lot of them because they have parents like me who are sitting here educating them going, yep, don't fucking play that game. Don't let them play that game on you guys. Here's what's going on here. Giving them a full understanding of what is happening in their society. This group is harder to get at because they are savvy. And you might go, you're so savvy. Yeah, you see this one, that one online or whatever, and there's always some people who are idiots. But as a group, this group has seen unnatural art, unnatural entertainment, inorganic creations, and they're like, nah, that's not for me. They've also seen, they're also living through a thing of like, not only are they not good, and we have to like lower our expectations just to fucking deal with it on any level, like to see it on any level, but it's all regurgitation. It's all properties that belong to our fathers not being done good, and their fathers are complaining about them. And their mothers are complaining about the live action Lilo and Stitch and 101 Dalmatians, and I don't know, I didn't like it at all, and here's some Mufasa, the prequel to Lion King live action. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? This year's billion-dollar grosser, it says, Lilo and Stitch over-indexed with men and boys, Disney previously said. Gen Z is a different story. Built-in interest is not nearly as guaranteed for such an audience, which propelled Warner Brothers a Minecraft movie to nearly $1 billion haul. That was a game Gen Z played as very small kids. Not to mention the euphoric viral moments of the article. It created for young men, filming key moments inside multiplexes and sharing them on platforms like TikTok. See also Universal Pictures' Gentle Minions trend in 2022 when Gen Z bros packed theaters in suits and ties for Minions: The Rise of Gru. So these are franchises that these kids grew up with, and they have been coming into their adulthood. They're not like you older guys where they're like, oh, you got to grow up and be an adult. They're like me where they said, no, there's no reason to fucking grow up. I liked that yesterday. I'm not going to all of a sudden pretend I don't like it now because now I'm a man. They're people who have a more nuanced grasp of this whole live and let live, empathy thing, loving each other thing. You got to be a little bit more childlike. You got to be a little bit sweeter. You got to be a little bit kinder. I'm like, these are my children. My younger ones are, I guess, in the other generation by just a little bit. But like, the way all of this shit is being talked about, I fucking hate it. Just mischaracterizing the Gen Z kids, boys, in order to make sense of your idiotic film companies producing shit that nobody wants to watch. The mental gymnastics that is done here in order to like achieve this is just mind-blowing to me. Completely mind-blowing. As it stands, Disney's in line with Sony Pictures and Paramount in its market share for Gen Z, 10% of ticket buyers in 2024. That's 2 points above Universal and 2 points below Warner's. But Disney is not leaving the job of courting Gen Z entirely up to the film group. Concurrent to Greenbaum's hire, the corporation bought a $1.5 billion equity stake in gaming juggernaut Fortnite, which will incorporate Disney's iconic stable of characters, which they are doing. Me and my kids love Fortnite. We play because often I'm across the country, and this is how we get to interact with one another. We get onto Fortnite, we play. So Fortnite in my house, we do a lot of that. But like it's being driven by the fact that there's distance, and it's an easy way for us to bond. The numbers and the interest in Fortnite, like what's actually been happening since Disney has like bought that stake, are not positive. There's a decent amount of, if you go onto YouTube, you type in Fortnite, buys whatever, you will see a lot of people basically shit-talking the whole endeavor, everything that's been going on. And I encourage you to go look into that if you're into the Fortnite conversation at all, whatever. But Disney did that to get in with the boys, and now all of a sudden, this kind of article is coming out. They're saying Disney was the unrefuted king of the box office last year. It will win again this year with 2 films potentially crossing the 1 billion mark, Avatar, Fire and Ash, and Zootopia 2, which is interesting. Let's see if they do. I kind of have a feeling that Avatar will, because there's a certain universality to like the blue guys and like all the stuff and the simple storyline. And Zootopia 2 has a similar kind of thing, with the animal, vibe. But will it go over as well? Will people be as excited to see it? We'll see. But they're predicting these will be billion-dollar movies and that they will dominate. Of course, Disney has also been losing billions of dollars when you calculate all these movies together. Losing money in Fantastic Four, losing money on Thunderbolts, losing money on Captain America. That's just the recent ones. The TV shows, Andor, the amount of fucking money that they spent on Andor to produce Andor for Disney Plus. Holy shit, its ratings do not equate to, like it doesn't make dollars and cents on any level. So they say 4 movies from Disney labels have crossed over $1 billion in the past 16 months. No other studio has had one in that time frame. Well, yes, and of course, because they put a lot of money into these IPs to buy things that would be of interest to people. But, it's crazy. So it's staggering to rival studios and deal makers that Disney is looking to blaze new trails after years of being the envy of the town, having counted for so long on sure things from the worlds of Iron Man and the Jedi. It's staggering to rival studios and deal makers that nobody notices that there's any problem over at Disney. Their parks are not doing well. Their parks are failing majorly to Universal Studios. Majorly. Universal Studios is going up and up with Harry Potter, brands that people like, and Disney is going down and down. Their park attendance is not good. The amount of money that they're expending on these films is going down and down. What $1 billion meant yesterday, with inflation now, they don't mean the same thing. You should check out Valiant Renegade on YouTube. He's got a great channel. He's a dollars and cents guy, and he is so good at breaking down really what it takes to break even for one of these movies, how much they're spending. Because they've been making movies in the UK and all this money has to be reported, we keep finding out that the budgets that they report for Marvel movies are actually worse. The budgets are fucking way worse, way higher. They've lost way more money on all these things. They'll be like, oh, well, we didn't lose money. And then we find out, wait a second, if this only made this and you had to spend all these expenses, you did lose money. So there are ways to figure this shit out, and the fucking people who are paying attention, and I don't mean paying attention to trade magazines like Variety, who just always frame everything in this wonderful complimentary way for all the studios, so they always look like they're doing the right thing. I'm talking about people who are reading between the lines, who are looking at real numbers, who are crunching them themselves, and who don't have any sort of loyalty to the system as it is, and who are actually more interested in getting better quality out of the entertainment that people like you and I love. Those people have known and are not staggered that Disney is looking to blaze some new trails. We've been waiting for signs of that. So even Bob Iger confirmed this in a quarterly earnings call. He said his film group won't favor existing IP over original material. The priority, Iger said, is to put out great movies. Oh, and Walt Disney Studios declined to provide comment for this story. You don't need to. They didn't need to provide a comment for this story. You wrote this story for them. You already covered their asses. Other studios are staggered. Rival studios are staggered. Deal makers are staggered. Disney's looking to blaze new. Why would they need to? They're Disney. $1 billion tentpole movies that they paid a fucking $1 billion to make in the first place. I did that whole episode on Stephen Colbert and how he was operating at a $50 million loss. And that's really the thing with some of these studios and why some people might legitimately be staggered. I thought you were getting government money. I thought you were getting corporation money. I thought you were getting DEI money. I thought money was coming from other places because you were trying to terraform the culture. Because you were trying to force change, as one of the BlackRock, I don't know if he's a CEO or whatever executives had said. We've got to force change on people. Got to force to change behaviors. Force new behaviors. And meanwhile, here we go. Much has been written about the narrowing audience for superhero movies. Nope, we've talked about this a million times. There's no narrowing audience for superhero movies. There's a narrowing audience for the way you guys have been making superhero audience. Just like there was a narrowing for the Western when you guys, Hollywood, started making all of the cowboys dark and sort of anti-heroes and not bright and shiny heroes who were coming to save the day, who had a morality, who had a line that they would draw in the sand. You guys are fucking up superheroes. You're making it all gray area and all just like this. Like, it's not really about the morality anymore. It's not, Superman's parents are evil, but, no, sorry. That actually really turns us off. The reason why we like white knights, the reason why people like Jesus Christ is because he's a good guy doing good things. Guess what? We like movies like that. We like stories like that. You're fucking it up. And then you're blaming it on superhero fatigue or something like, no. And watch, the performance of Marvel's latest release, Fantastic Four First Steps, which aimed to launch yet another superhero franchise, led by Pedro Pascal, who people do not like, and Vanessa Kirby, and granted, people like Pedro as an actor. Fuck that mustache. I mean, he was okay in the movie, but the movie was just kind of boring and, just wasn't really exciting. There's so many just weak things about the movie. The female Silver Surfer, these are all things that when you put it in a trailer and you advertise that to your audience, and the audience has already been feeling like lackluster about all the things that you're making because of all these other changes, even if somehow you manage to pull it off and Fantastic Four isn't that bad, which is not that bad, it's reasonably good, but it's like a lower bar. It's reasonably good compared to other things of recent time that have been reasonably bad. Despite good reviews, promising opening weekend, and full attention of Marvel czar Kevin Feige, Star Wars had not produced a film in 7 years. A big screen adaptation of Disney Plus hit The Mandalorian is coming next year. And I have no interest in seeing that. Do you? I mean, I'm going to have to hear that it is spectacular to see that movie. By the third season, I just don't care anymore. They lost me. They lost track. They lost the audience. Do you think it's going to be a big hit? I don't. Of course, they got a little obvious quote here. A rival to Disney said every studio should be looking for originals as sequels and reboots continue to exhaust the culture, even if they're packed in moviegoers in the short term. Forgetting about original content long term is fucking stupid. We shouldn't do that. That should be a no-brainer. Just buying Marvel IP and Star Wars IP and just producing it brilliantly and making billions and billions of dollars, that's not the answer either. Of course we want original fucking things. Of course your generation wants to have something to call its own. And of course, on some level, your generation is going to forgive the little foibles or whatever of the things that they liked because it was a thing that they liked. And they were happy to see it. And they had some nostalgia for it, some member berries, whatever. And that's okay. But yeah, of course. The last paragraph of this stupid article says, I never thought I'd say it, the exec muses about the Magic Kingdom's boy troubles, despite its gem box of iconic IP. Quote, but it looks like Disney is going to have to start trying. Oh my God. Oh my God. And the truth shall set you free. In the last bit of this article, Disney is going to have to start trying. And I mean, what a fucking weird article this is, because it's multiple times in this article, it's like, there's no big deal. We're staggered by the idea that Disney would want to do. Look at, they made 6 billion films, and they're $6 billion reaching films just in the past 16 months. It's a very convenient number. They're like in the past year, because they can only point to whatever. But 16 months, let's just go back far enough so that we can give it kind of a big number. And, rival studios don't have so much of the good stuff there. Disney and most of these big companies have been executing a one-size-fits-all sort of thing against every franchise, every group of anything that has a built-in audience. They have been taking over these products and they've been terraforming them. Culturally terraforming them just like they did in Russia, not with the movies, but with society, right before the fucking fall of the Berlin Wall and all fucking Russia's coming apart into pieces. Go online. Like I said, go look up some old Russian guys, and they'll tell you how the fall of Russia back in the day came from this. And you can see with your own eyes, open them up. Geek culture came into prevalence. I am one of the people who helped make it like that. I'm a cool person. I knew what fucking cool was. My whole life as a kid, this shit was lame. There was no movies. Occasionally there'd be like a little thing here or there, and everybody'd be shit talking. I'd be like, no, you guys are wrong. These are the stories. These stories are great. And we lived a little renaissance, a nice little decade of me and people like me being proven correct. Look how powerful these stories are. These stories were so powerful. They were such juggernauts. They made so much money. They turned so many heads. They got so many eyes that the rich and powerful said, we're going to use these things as vessels for the culture terraforming that we want to do. We're going to make the culture that we want to see, acting the way we want to act, and it's going to be all up there on the big screen, and they're going to love it because they already love these things. But that's not what happened. When people start to try to force behaviors and try to get you to do things, people revolt. And that's what the audience has been doing. We've been revolting because we find your products revolting. Disney, I'm one of the biggest Disney fans under the sun. I have watched every single piece of Disney animation ever made, with the exception of probably a short or two. I love Disney. Walt Disney is one of my heroes. It's like Jim Henson, Steve Jobs, other people that I love, Walt Disney. The Disney animated films, the Disney the live action films that have a little bit of Disney animation, and I had a collection of every single Disney live action movie with animation, every single Disney animated film. I'm a huge Pixar fan, which granted Pixar isn't necessarily a boys brand, but just all of these things that Disney owns. The Muppets. I'm a huge Muppets geek. I'm a huge Marvel geek. I'm not as big of a Star Wars geek, but I became for a moment a fan of Star Wars. Because I had a lot of friends who were, and I just wanted to enjoy it with them. And then literally, my friends who were fans of Star Wars got so disheartened by Star Wars, I would say now I'm more of a Star Wars fan than they are. It's crazy. This is what you've done. You bought the biggest intellectual IP for boys specifically to bring in the boys, and then you fucked with the formulas to such a degree as it doesn't work anymore. The formula doesn't work. The medicine no longer works. And while this article should read loud and clear, Disney's boy trouble. Studio seeks to fix its original IP to win back Gen Z men amid Marvel Lucasfilm struggles. But that's not what it says. It says Disney boy trouble. Studio seeks original IP. Not its original IP, or to fix its original IP. Or to do something different than it's been doing. It's just going to keep doing the same shit to the next piece of intellectual property that they buy to get the Gen Z boys. Like, God knows what a fucking Fortnite movie made by Disney is going to look like. I'm sure there's going to be one eventually. And, oh, man, I am not hopeful. I am not optimistic. I'm like, honestly, I'm just like, I've been playing Fortnite for forever. I love Fortnite. Really enjoy playing it with my kids. But what's a Disney movie going to be? I cannot imagine it's going to be anything good. But my kids will want to see that until they get so disillusioned and disenfranchised by your franchises, your poorly made franchises, that we fucking all bail on all of it. Disney is destined for disaster at the rate it's going. But perhaps there will be a reckoning. Perhaps a real change will come. Every little bit of change in the culture right now, as we go back to a bit of more middle ground in entertainment, they want to blame it on Trump. It's not fucking Trump, man. It's the audience that voted for Trump. It's the audience that is out there that doesn't like the shit. You're not playing to fucking Trump. You're not playing to modern politics. You're playing to the audience that is walking away from you. Walking away. In droves. In droves. They're walking away. It's just so stupid. So the fact that an article like this can be written, the fact that there's this much double talk going on in the article, I mean, just speaking out of both sides of your fucking mouth here, I don't even understand. So, real quick, Saturday, I've got a coolest pick for you guys, which I'm doing for the first time ever. I was going to do a whole episode on it, but again, I don't like to spoil things, and I figured I could do like a slightly longer episode, maybe 20 minutes or whatever, on Saturday, because usually I'll do like something like 10 minutes, just gushing about some things that I like. But last night, I saw what's got to be one of the best movies that I've seen in a long time. Best movie I've seen since Animal World, which is another fucking killer flick. It's called Ni Za 2. It is a sequel to an animated film called Ni Za, which me and my siblings watched me and my children watched last night after we got home from watching Ni Za 2. Ni Za 2 has already made almost $2 billion worldwide. Most of that has actually come from China. It was so popular in China that it made like $1.8 billion, and now has been being released worldwide, slowly and surely, and making money everywhere it goes. It is fucking wonderful. Like, I mean, really, it's really, really wonderful. I'm going to talk about it at length The film that it's a sequel to is not even close to as good. Me and my kids watched it last night. We were given that like a 6. Between like a 6 and a 7, we were going for the first one, but the sequel, it's a 10. I mean, just on so many levels. There's little bits and pieces that are a little, what do you call it? A little confusing, like having not seen the first movie or whatever. But once you fucking get it going, wow! Like it's just a movie that you really want to understand it better and like want to look into it more deeply. The designs are fucking incredible. It's so cool. I'm going to talk about it at length on Saturday, and maybe I might even release the episode sooner, like release it for Friday, because I believe it's in theaters all around the country this week, and that's why I wanted to talk about it real quick and just gush a little bit. If you're looking to see something really cool and you don't need much convincing, dude, Nisa 2, excellent. It's really, really excellent. You will be blown away. And it just take a few minutes to just get the movie going, as you like sort of recapitulate yourself with like what's going on here, because basically it's very much continuing from where it left off in the first film, but it is excellent. And I would kind of say, like, don't necessarily watch the first movie, because the first movie might make you go, why do I gotta watch the second movie? But the second movie will make you interested in watching the first. and it's set up for another sequel. And I'm stoked, because I would love to see more of this. It is really, really just exquisite. It's exquisite on so many levels. It's an exquisite film, and I'm excited to talk about it on Saturday. So we got that, and then hey, I'm on Kickstarter. I've got Sugar and Bones magazine, which is my heavy metal replacement. I'm getting rid of heavy metal, and we're going to fucking take over with Sugar and Bones. That's probably launching in the next like 3 months. But you can sign up for notifications right now, so that when we go live, you will actually be informed that we are doing it. It's comic books and photography and poetry and stuff like that being demonstrated at the highest level imaginable. And then also the brightest and most wonderful creative people teaching their, writing articles and stuff like that, demonstrating how to be great at all this stuff. And then us as people who love this stuff, promoting our favorite movies, our favorite music, our favorite everything. So it's just like all the best stuff in the world at your doorstep, quarterly. Sugar and Bones magazine. You can sign up for notifications on Kickstarter. And then if you type in Jesse Blaze Snider, there'll be a thing that comes up that says it's a Jesse Blaze Snider box set. It's not going to be a box set anymore. I still got to update the thing. It's going to be a physical copy of the Solfeggio Transmissions album that I released, which are healing frequency songs. But they're not, it's not chanting. It's blues, rock, pop music, just stuff that everybody can enjoy, but it's all recorded in these wonderful solfeggio frequencies. And I'm really just excited to get that out there. I did this I made this using AI, because that's one of the cool benefits of the AI. You can switch over to any frequency you want, and it's kind of difficult to do that with a band. 432 is like a slightly easier one, but some of these solfeggio frequencies, most musicians don't really know how to tune like that, and like to get their shit quite. I don't know what the word is, but like, most of the time when I try to talk to people about this in the music, they'd be like, what are you even talking about? There are some people who know how to do it, but even like, say, there's 9 solfeggio frequencies, there's another 9 frequencies like 111, 222, 333. Oh my God, imagine there was a band that was like playing all of those frequencies. They'd have to have 18 guitars on the stage, to go, gotta go switch to the other frequency. So it's really hard to do this in those circumstances. But to do it on an album where I'm just literally able to go, hey guys, translate this into this frequency, translate this into this frequency. I was able to make these healing albums, and I'm really, really excited about it. And we're going to be releasing them through Kickstarter. Probably in the next month is going to start the campaign there. So go over there, type in Jesse Blaze Snider, and when it says something about music, just sign up for notifications, and I'll be accurate. I'll have a more accurate description soon. Finally, we've got All Your Favorite Bands Suck, which is my music show, which got canceled on Spotify, so we put it on hold for a minute, but we will be bringing it back. There's still 55 of my favorite bands. You can check them out. Just all sorts of musical genres. If you want to get into some new bands, go check out All Your Favorite Bands Suck podcast. And then every Monday, I do my show, Everything They Don't Want You to Know, which is just all the fucking esoteric information, magic and aliens and Bigfoots and fucking, what is it? The ancient astronauts, all sorts of stuff that is fun. And and philosophical, spiritual teachings from universal law and hermetic principles. I just did the Book of One, which is the channelings of Ra. They channeled Ra. It's very, very dense information, but very consistent information, mind-blowing. And I did a whole episode on that. If you're interested in that, go check it out. Everything you want to know. Otherwise, I hope I'll see you on Saturday for this instant classic for Niza 2. And I hope you'll join me again next Wednesday for another fucking awesome episode of The Coolest Geek Alive. Love you. Bye. You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snider. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part. Isn't that heavy? I'll play that. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Coolest alive. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Stay with your tribe. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Revenge of the Geeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Week after weeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Laughing with you. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And crying sometimes too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Spelling it out. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Making you shout. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living the shit. My voice gonna be fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Cat in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Call right on text. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Raising the bar. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Straight to the stars. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's starting soon. Straight to the top. Awesome. Passing the moon. It's gonna be fucking awesome. On with the show. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Ready, set, go. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
You'll all see. The podcast playground. Hooray!